Alexander the Great was born in July 356 BC. Alexander grew up in a disruptive family which would bring significant consequences for Alexander's development. Alex's father was gone most of Alex's early years. Alex's mother was responsible for guiding his formative years. Her first priority was to instill in him a sense of destiny and greatness to which he would ascend. His mother also wanted to turn him against his father. That might have helped the dislike he felt for his father. But Alex always had deep respect for his mother. Alexander did not genuine admiration for his father, and followed his path as a military captain or king. Alexander's early years are difficult to confirm because of the many legends. Most paint him as a precocious child, accustomed to association with great politicians, artists, and generals, from whom he quickly learned through imitation. Other legends paint him in different ways, so there is no confirmed information.
Alexander spent his childhood watching his father transforming Macedonia into a great military power, winning victory after victory on the battlefields throughout the Balkans. When he was 13, Philip hired the Greek philosopher Aristotle to be Alexander's personal tutor. During the next 3 years, Aristotle gave Alexander a training in rhetoric and literature and stimulated his interest in science, medicine, and philosophy, all of which became an importance in Alexander's later life. In 340 BC, when Philip, Alexander's father, assembled a large Macedonian army, invaded Thrace, he left his 16-year-old son with the power to rule Macedonia in his absence as regent, which shows that even at such a young age, Alexander was recognized as quite capable. Alexander succeeded his father, Philip II, to the throne at the age of 20. By the age of 30, he had created one of the largest empires of the ancient world, stretching from Greece to Egypt into northwest India. He was undefeated in battle and is considered one of history's most successful military commanders.
Alexander the Great was one of the greatest military leaders in history. He conquered many lands. Alexander was the king of Macedon, the leader of the Corinthian League, and the conqueror of Persia. He succeeded in forging the largest western empire of the ancient world. With his Macedonian forces, Alexander subdued and then united the Greeks. After doing this, he set the stage for his march against the Persian Empire. In September 331, Alexander defeated the Persians' Arbela, which today is modern Erbil. After the Persian army collapsed, he went on to explore Babylonia. He celebrated the New Year's festival in their honor of Marduk, a god to his people, where it is said the god confirmed Alexander, the Buccal king. He became known as King of Babylon, King of Asia, and King of the four corners of the world. Alexander went on to do even greater things. He might truly be the greatest military leader in history. Alexander the Great left behind a legacy in June of 323 BC, the day of his death in Babylon, or present-day Iraq. This 32-year-old Macedonian king conquered from Greece to Egypt and into the northwest India. Local residents wept at the tragic news as Achaemenid subjects shaved their heads. Most were so caught up they didn't think to ask one question: how did he die? Historians and scientists have been trying to figure out the answer for decades now. Unfortunately, there are many ways Alexander could have died. The cause that has the most evidence behind it is typhoid fever, which was common in ancient Babylon. During the time of Alexander the Great's death, chills, sweats, exhaustion, and high fever were all mentioned in historical accounts. Also quoted from Alexander Romance, he had severe abdominal pain, causing him to cry out in agony. Popular theories, though, included malaria and that he was poisoned. 2 weeks before his death, Alexander sailed in the marshes to inspect flood defenses. The malaria is thought not to be true because it was noted that he did not have a fever curve. Perpetrators have been identified, such as one of Alexander's wives, the royal cupbearer, his generals, or his illegitimate half-brother. In the book Alexander the Great, The Death of a God, was claimed that Alexander was poisoned by his illegitimate half-brother with arsenic. This was proven wrong when it was suggested he was poisoned by a wine made from a plant named Veratrum album, aka white hellebore. It can produce poisoning symptoms similar to the ones Alexander suffered from. Although they don't know how he died, it doesn't matter as much as the legacy he left behind. After Alexander's death, he was laid in a gold anthropoid sarcophagus that was filled with honey. According to a seer called Aristander, said that the land Alexander was buried in would be happy and unvanquishable forever. Successors thought of his body as a symbol of legitimacy. While Alexander's funeral cortege was getting sent to Macedon, Ptolemy seized it and took it to Memphis for a while. When Alexandria received Alexander's body, one of Ptolemy's successors replaced Alexander's sarcophagus with a glass one so he could convert the original to coinage. Pompey, Julius Caesar, and Augustus visited the tomb in Alexandria, where Augustus accidentally knocked the nose off. Emperor Septimius Severus closed Alexander's tomb to the public. His son Caracalla, a great admirer, visited his tomb during his own reign. The Alexander sarcophagus was discovered near Sidon, but now it is the Easton Archaeology Museum. Alexander the Great, you could say, was the greatest conqueror that ever lived.